This is NBC 10 Breaking News.
Dave Schrader with the Red Cross actually joins us on the phone right now. Dave, are you there on the scene?
I just left the scene moments ago to come back and actually refresh my phone, but just left there. And the Red Cross, our first primary responsibility is to assist the first responders, the firefighters, and the police, the EMTs on the scene, and helping in the search efforts.
And Dave, as you were there doing just that, as you mentioned, giving aid to the first responders, what is your assessment of their situation and what you saw when you were at the scene?
Basically, it is they're keeping very well in hand. They're doing a great job. They're keeping us informed and whatever they need from us, and it's been a very well coordinated effort. And we're proud to serve alongside them. But we're really, our thoughts are with the Salvation Army, our partners. Anytime there's a disaster in this city, the Salvation Army is with us as well, and so we work closely with them. And so our thoughts are with them at this time.
Dave, I was going to ask you about that. Of course, you selflessly serve, as does the Salvation Army, your comrades there inside the thrift shop. When you learned that that's where you were responding to, what was your gut reaction? Well,
actually, I was in my office, and someone had said the Salvation Army building collapsed, and I said, oh, they were doing demolition work right next door. I'm like, oh, that's probably just where they're knocking down the building next door. But then they confirmed it was definitely that building, and that's where we sort of all ran outside. We walked by that building. It's right around the corner from our office. We walk by there all the time, and it really hits close to home more than usual, and not so much because of the building, but because of the people inside. And I'm sure the folks at Salvation Army we work with every day know those folks inside. So that's our primary concern, is the first responders and the Salvation Army colleagues.
Dave, you mentioned you just left the scene to go back, perhaps to your office, refresh your phone, and do some other things. I'm sure you're keeping tabs on what's going on the scene. How big is your crew there, the Red Cross, on the scene?
Well, I believe we have about 25 people there who come and go. We have access to all the employees at our main headquarters if more are needed. So we're providing counseling as well. We have some volunteers just walking through the crowd. Anyone who needs assistance, who looks like they're shaken up, we have trained mental health counselors who are sort of providing a hug or just a shoulder to cry on, or someone to talk to deal with what's happened.
And all accounts so far have been that this is an accident. Of course, the demolition taking place to the building next door. It accidentally then, for some reason, an investigation will reveal, crashed on top of the thrift store. The image to the left of the screen is live. You're seeing a look up the four-story building, the part of it that is still intact. The right side of your screen is the rescue efforts. You'd mentioned counseling, Dave. Tell me what your impressions of the scene were. Had you seen anything like that before?
I've been to many building collapses, obviously nothing quite this large. And so it was shocking, and it's too strong a word, but certainly it was alarming to see that. And I was amidst the crowd, and they were sharing stories of how I talked to one gentleman who he was really stopped at the red light when the walls came crashing down on his car. I was talking to him for a few minutes, and he was pretty shaken up. Another gentleman, he had his car parked, and debris fell on his car. So, and everyone sort of just wondered what was going on and wanted to make sure everyone was safe and was sending out their best wishes. So that was sort of the scene I witnessed when I was out there.
Dave, as we mentioned, 13 people have been rushed to 3 local hospitals, and so far the reports are pretty optimistic that these folks haven't suffered any major injuries. But as you just mentioned and alluded to, we may not always be the other kinds of injuries may not always be apparent, psychological and perhaps internal injuries that some of these folks may suffer. But as you're there talking to these firefighters, I mean, these are men known to be pretty tough individuals. What's your sense about what they're going through? Are they okay? They seem to be okay, hanging in there?
Yeah, the general sense was they're doing a great job. They're the best in the business. We work with them very closely all the time. They do great work, and they're showing once again that they're the best around. So we want to do whatever we can to support them, but they seem to be doing a great job.
Dave, I'm curious, in terms of counseling, you mentioned that. What were the varying degrees of injury these firefighters were dealing with?
It's hard to say. I wasn't really that close enough to see the kind of injuries they were dealing with. We're sort of not always looped into that sort of thing, but whatever they were, I'm sure they're doing whatever they can to get those people out and get them safe.
Dave, will you maintain a presence there, the Red Cross, I mean, will the Red Cross maintain a presence there throughout the day and perhaps into the coming days and maybe a week or so? I don't know how long the Red Cross typically stays at the scene of a situation like this, but how long will you folks maintain a presence at the scene of this building collapse?
We're there as long as we're needed. As long as there's a request for our assistance, we'll be providing it. Days, weeks, whatever, through the night, doesn't matter. They need our help, we'll be there.
Okay, Dave.
Thank you very much, Dave.
Us from the Philadelphia Red Cross. Thank you for your service to your selfless service.